Hello everybody and welcome back to Blue Jays Today. We're your boys. We always got something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog, and we are now officially on Corbin Burnes watch. We were watching for Juan Soto, missed out on that one, but this feels a lot more realistic for the Toronto Blue Jays. Some recent reports have just broken that are indicating we're favorites for Corbin Burnes.
What?
And considering Max Fried just signed his contract and we are at the end of the winter meetings, something could get done at any moment. Before we break into all of it, please make sure to hit that like, smash the subscribe button, and let us know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Let's transition immediately over to the report that has got all of Blue Jays Nation, I guess if you will, feeling excited about potentially going out and get Corbin Burnes.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of, players in the Corbin Burnes race right now. You've got the Red Sox, you've got the Blue Jays, of course, and you've also got the San Francisco Giants. Some might believe that the, Baltimore Orioles are going to be in the mix, but they're not the case right now. No one's talking about the Baltimore Orioles. However, what you're saying right here, Nick, the really exciting news is coming from Mike Rodriguez right now. He's quote tweeting Mark Feinsand, so shout out to Mark Feinsand with the news, saying the Blue Jays and Giants seem to be leading the pack in the race for Burnes, according to a recent update from Mark Feinsand. Now, that's obviously very, very exciting. However, we do have to acknowledge there is the Boston Red Sox in this mix, and the Red Sox, according to right here, this is an article by Anthony Franco. This was coming, I believe, from Sean McAdam of Mass Live, that the Red Sox, they are looking to offer Corbin Burnes a contract, and they missed out on Max Fried too. They missed out on Juan Soto as well, so they've got a lot of money saved up to offer a Mr. Corbin Burnes that is projected to get like $250 at least million in that contract. So there's a lot of players here. However, if you want to believe what Mark is saying, then hearing that the Blue Jays and the Giants being the favorites, that's very encouraging.
Yeah, man, and I do believe this, right? I know that we've heard Blue Jays are favorited to do X, Y, Z before, and it hasn't happened. But think about Ross Atkins and think about what we've seen him do and what we've seen him spend money on in the last few years. You're looking at Gausman. You're looking at a Jose Barrios extension. You're looking at Chris Bassett. This guy invests in the starting pitching. That is something that clearly he values and he deems as being very important, which it is. And I do believe that if we are favorited to land Corbin Burnes, there is some fire to this smoke. Like, there is real legitimacy to the fact that Ross Atkins would be targeting this guy. They've come out previously this offseason talking about how they want to add starters. Keegan Matheson was reporting on that, and effectively the whole argument here was, well, not only is it just great to get somebody as good as Corbin Burnes, but you get Corbin Burnes and boom, immediately Yariel Rodriguez, you're a bullpen guy. Now we have depth. If anyone gets injured, well, that's just, we can weather the storm a lot more if you have Corbin Burnes. Just across the board, this is making sense for me. And this, to me, like I said off the top, seems a lot more realistic than Juan Soto ever did.
Oh, absolutely. And, a lot of people might say, well, why would Corbin Burnes ever come to a 74-win team? Why would he ever want to have an offense like the Toronto Blue Jays? However, there is another side of things that a lot of people don't realize that is very important to a starting pitcher, or any pitcher for that matter, is what's my defense look like? You want to have the back-to-back team gold glove defense? You can have that, and guess what? They just made a trade for arguably the best infield defender in all of baseball in Andres Jimenez, who has 3 gold gloves and a platinum glove, and you've also got Dalton Varsho out there in center field. So that's something that really pitchers do consider, and you're also joining an already established elite rotation of guys where you could better your craft. If you believe in the process and you're signing for this team for what we imagine will be 7, 8, hell, even 9 years, you never know, then you're going to be here for the long haul. And who cares if you lost last year? You got 9, 8, 7 years to go play for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Exactly, right. This is going to be a long-term deal. I would anticipate it's going to be somewhere in that length of a Max Fried contract. And now, speaking about the competition for Corbin Burnes, you are going to have the Boston Red Sox, and I do believe that they are legit in this race. I'm looking at Twitter right now, and you got Jared Carabas and Robbie Hyde and various other Boston Red Sox fans who are kind of losing their minds right now that they need to go out and get Corbin Burnes.
Understandably
I get
so.
it, guys. You missed out on Soto. You missed out on Fried. So I do think that we're going to be battling with them. The Giants, this was recently reported by Susan Slusser, who is a I guess, a Giants insider, and she's been notably...
A bit of a reporter, yeah.
Yes, yeah, and she's been notably correct about a lot of San Francisco Giants things before. She was bringing up the fact that based on Buster's recent comments, the Giants might not actually be as in this race as some people are anticipating. This is good news to me. Go focus on Roki. Focus on other individuals. We need guys to fall out of this race. If it's between us and it's between the Boston Red Sox, which honestly I think is probably what it's looking like right now, then you just got one less team to outbid.
Well, yeah, that'd be great. I mean, just for our audio listeners right here, like the literal quote is like he's happy with these group of starters that he has over there in San Fran, and that Burnes, which is what Susan's saying, her words, she suspects that he might be moving out of their price range. And if that is the case, I'm not familiar at all with the Giants, finances. In fact, I'm not even familiar with the Jays' finances, but all I know is that if Burnes is moving out of their price range and the Blue Jays and the Red Sox are up in the price, then yeah, that's one less team you got to worry about. Now, it all comes down to Burnes on where he wants to go, because there is also another argument you could make. Burnes is a California guy. Maybe he wants to go over to the West Coast regardless of the price range, go back home, because, again, it is 7, 8 to 9 years. It is a big commitment, but if the money talks, then there shouldn't be a problem for the Blue Jays or the Red Sox to land him at the end of the day.
And ultimately, the money is going to talk, right?
It is.
That is your big-time argument. I mean, like, you can flash your Team Gold Glove all you want, but a couple extra $1 million is probably going to push the needle a bit further, right? The Toronto Blue Jays are going to need to get over this, I don't know, fear of overpaying or the desire to stay disciplined if they want to get Corbin Burnes.
Yeah, I think
that's just the reality.
And I think, and I'm going to quote Ben right here, I think he is the exception to the rule of staying under the CBT and staying disciplined. When you go at impact players, that is always going to help your team and increase. If you're thinking financially from a business standpoint, adding Corbin Burnes, that's going to sell tickets. Imagine going to show up for Corbin Burnes Day, and hell, you know what else will sell tickets? Going back to the postseason, and Corbin Burnes is going to help you with that. Right here, Ben Nicholson-Smith is kind of talking about how we're just $13 million away from the CBT threshold, and a lot of people are speculating, based on Mark Shapiro's comments back earlier in the year, we're not really seeing that our budgets can increase in any way, but Corbin Burnes and Alex Bregman, like Ben's saying here, those are the exceptions to the rule that can help your team in the long run. So where I'm kind of at right now with the whole Corbin Burnes thing, I'm feeling more optimistic, of course, than I did about a Juan Soto.
Yeah.
I would even say, based on everything we're hearing, maybe we're seeing some different part of the media because we have some media bias here and they're only feeding us what we want to see.
That is an element.
But I would say that we are probably the leaning slight favorites in this race.
Whoa, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below to join the action. Only available in Ontario. Must be 19 years of older to participate. Please play responsibly. Now, everyone, back to the content.
So I don't know, where are you
I think I do believe that's where I'm at as well, man. I'd have the Jays just a little bit in front of probably the Red Sox, and then right after that, it would be the San Francisco Giants is my evaluation of this whole thing, which is very exciting because when you think about that rotation, adding in Corbin Burnes, I don't want us to go deep into fantasy land here because the guy hasn't signed yet. He hasn't inked a contract, but you got Corbin Burnes, Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios, Chris Bassett, Bowden Francis. Wow. At that point, I don't give a shit what Alek Manoah becomes or Yadier Rodriguez or whatever. If you guys want to do anything, great.
Yeah.
Because look at that. That is a 5 right there that, as you said at the beginning of this whole thing, prior to us hitting record, it can compete with the New York Yankees with their Garrett Coles and their Max Fried. It can compete with some of the best rotations in the game. I'm not saying that we're immediately a postseason team because we do still need to hit the baseball occasionally. However, this is the type of foundation that you can build your team off of. We have seen squads go deep in the postseason being a pitch first, hit later type of team, which is honestly maybe the identity of the Toronto Blue Jays moving forward, especially if we get a Corbin Burnes.
Hey, we always thought we were the slugging team, but, are we going to play this gritty form of baseball? That could be it, right? And look, even think about this, right? It doesn't only help our immediate future, but it helps the long term. Obviously, we know Corbin Burnes is here for a long time, but going back to the rotation, you're going to have no Chris Bassett next year. So then it's Corbin Burnes, Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios, Bowden Francis, and then there may come into play an Alek Manoah or Jake Bloss or Ricky T if we still have him at that point, right? So it's absolutely going to help the rotation win, not only this year, but next year. And then, yeah, when you look at that bullpen right now, you look at all the holes. But if you sign Corbin Burnes, immediately Yariel Rodriguez drops down into there, and you add in. We got Nick Sandlin last night.
Yes, we did.
You replace Ryan Burr, just for temporary, just visual right here. Replace Ryan Burr right here with Yariel Rodriguez. Brendan Little's pretty good. You got 2 more spots to fill, baby. Maybe you go add 1 more. Your bullpen is set. Your rotation is set. We do need a bat. That is very important, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, the pitching staff as a whole would be looking a lot better. Now, for those of you wondering what type of contract this is actually going to look like, it is going to be a lot. I think that the Jays can afford this, and I think that we are going to be in there right up until the bitter end, because I do think that Ross Atkins values this type of player, but it's going to be a lot of money. Max Fried just got paid $218 million for 8 years. Corbin Burnes, I mean, you could argue that he's better than Max Fried, and he's got a resume that is deeper than Max Fried.
Right.
People are projecting that he is going to get in the mid-200s. 255 is a number that is being thrown around right now. I could see it going a little bit even higher than that.
Yeah.
This is a player that is probably going to be on an 8-year, maybe even 9-year contract. Yeah. And the average annual value, I would anticipate, he is going to want it to be in the mid to high 30s. He might even make a point of being the highest paid average annual value pitcher in the game. Actually, I don't know if Max Scherzer or Justin Verlander.
Yeah, I mean, forget those guys because they're 1 year.
Yeah, 1-year deal.
But
I could genuinely see him like walking into negotiations being like, I want to get $100,000 more dollars per year than Garrett Cole. You know? And I could, because that's what happens, right? You want to keep pushing the needle if you're that top guy. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of money, everybody. But honestly, for a player like this, I am more than happy if the Blue Jays wanted to spend that.
You thought Kevin Gausman was a great signing. This is going to be even better than that if it does happen, right? Because Gausman immediately becomes your number 2 in this rotation, and that's incredible, right? So yeah, I mean, we got to be on the lookout, guys. Tonight we could be going live. Actually, we will be going live, but it could be a Corbin Burnes watch type of stream. There could be some other type of rumors and news breaking, so we're going to be covering all that a little bit later tonight, folks.
Yeah, guys, let us know in the comments down below your thoughts about all of this. Do you think that we're going to get Corbin Burnes? Do you want Corbin Burnes? And what is a projected contract? Hit that like, smash the subscribe button. $3 a month for our Patreon member. Shout out and thank you to all of our current Patreon members and our YouTube members. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And as always,
go Jays, go!